I'm going to talk about being immature. So, when you refer to someone as immature, you have to be 100% sure that you are not projecting. So, what is projecting? Projecting is to accuse people of these 5 points right here. You can read them. When in reality, you're doing that to that person. So you have to be sure, before you call someone immature, you have to be sure that you are honest, that you know yourself and you know what you want, that you have self-awareness with your actions, etc., and that you understand the other person's feelings, emotions, and life situations that he or she is experiencing, and that you are content with yourself and what you want, and that you are content with your partner, with your friend, and with your family. You're not gonna get anything else. So you can get a millionaire, but you can get a girl with a great body, right? But then you are probably discarding someone else in favor of that. And you don't have control over your desires. I'm not saying it's wrong to have aspirations, right? Or goals. But if your goal is to find someone rich, then you are going to live someone else's life, not yours. So if you want money, work. So okay, that's my little rant. Anyway, so what is cluster B? Cluster B is one of the clusters of disorders in psychiatry. Cluster A, B, and C. Cluster B refers to personality disorders only, which is narcissism, sociopathy, histrionic, schizoid personality disorder, borderline, all of those, right? The most common mental disorder or mental disability in society that nobody is aware of is psychopathy or sociopathy. Then narcissism, oh, you're a narcissist. Before accusing someone of being a narcissist, again, you have to know yourself and be aware that you are not projecting. Okay, I'm going to go to the term. It's a brain deficit. It's that you bring to your adulthood from your childhood. So if you didn't heal any daddy issues or any insecurity or any dissatisfaction, that I'm gonna go into this object constancy. If you didn't heal all of that, then you will bring that up onto your adulthood, and then you have a lot of issues, especially projecting. You will never be content with anybody you date. You will meet someone and idealize that person, and then when you get bored, you will discard that person. So immaturity is very common in society. Okay, you are dishonest. You have hidden agendas. You stick talk to your lover, and you lie. You manipulate. You lie to get out of boredom. You manipulate people for money, or maybe he or she gives you a ride, right? And then you need to get that ride to work, so you pretend to be nice to gain something. Then entitlement. Entitlement is very common it's more common in women than men. And I hate to say this, but there's a stereotype in society where people call narcissistic women with Karens. So Karens, are they have a huge sense of entitlement, which is a delusion. Is It comes from childhood. They got everything in childhood, or they lacked everything in childhood, so they bring that upbringing to their adult self, usually projected on some other areas. Okay, going back to childhood, they probably wanted that doll, right? And their mom, she didn't buy it, so she's mad. She's upset. So in adulthood, if he says no, we cannot go to Yellowstone, I have work, now she's mad. Or if the manager, he doesn't have the item that she wants, now she's mad. She projects. So entitlement, this is what it is. Lack of self-awareness, usually with actions. Self-awareness is not in everybody. Self-awareness is linked to the brain, to your cognitive self and your persona. And self-awareness is really complex to explain, but self-awareness is to be self-aware of your own behavior towards others and how it can affect yourself and others. That's the simple way I can explain it. Then mirror neurons. This is also very complex. Is neurological. Mirror neurons is simply oxytocin, which is a chemical in the brain that gives you the cerebral function to understand how, again, your actions affect others. So when you are a child, when you're 5, you haven't developed mirror neurons yet. You don't have empathy. So mirror neurons is projected as empathy. So when we are babies, we lack empathy. This is debatable, because many people say that, yeah, babies have empathy, but if you know about neurology or psychiatry, you know that we lack empathy, because kids, let me give you an example. When you are taking care of your little cousin, right? He's 6, right? Or 5. Then he grabs a cup, and then he hits you with the cup. He hits you in the head with the cup, right? And then he makes you bleed, and then he laughs, and then he cannot see that you're in pain. So what's the meaning of mirror neurons? Mirror neurons is to see yourself on others. It's like empathy mirrors that your actions have consequences. That's why they call it mirror neurons, because it's like a mirror. You say something bad, and then you see a reaction comes to your way, and then you see the reflection that your action was bad. So people with cluster B, they lack empathy, they lack oxytocin, or they have an imbalance of the oxytocin, which is very low. So when they do something, probably they cheat on their wife, or they get rid of you, or they dump you and they find someone else, they see your reaction as, oh, it's not possible that I caused this, so he's crazy, he's obsessed, immature. So now they're projecting. Now you got it, right? Okay. Then discontent. Discontent is a cause of object constancy. Object constancy is it's projecting. It's kind of like projecting, but more on the mirror neuron side. So what is object constancy? Object constancy is towards a person. So when that person is not around, when that person is present, you keep a balance of emotions. You still love that person. So this is very common in narcissists. So when you don't give a narcissist or a sociopath what they want, is either yourself, your presence, right, or money or whatever you give them, then they they start to discard you. So what they call it object constancy, where uh, well they call it object constancy because when we were kids, when we were little, our parents used to buy toys, right, for us, right? So we are happy with our toy, right? It's probably a doll or a action figure. Then we play with the toy, we play with the toy, we play with the toy until we get tired of the toy. We just get tired of the toy when we're kids because we like we cannot mirror ourselves or have self-awareness that the toy is good enough. Simple as that. So as kids, we project a lot of object constancy. So then we just get tired of the toy and just stop playing with the toy, or we see another toy, right? With probably 3 legs and 2 arms or whatever, right? And then the old toy is your behavior shifts, and then you want to discard. In adulthood, you want to discard your partner for a shiny new guy, right? Your partner probably he only likes to wear black, right? And this guy he likes to wear colors. And now, or he drives and he don't. And so this is object constancy, discontent towards your partner, and all this is neurological. They are immature. They are undeveloped adults. So all the cluster Bs are immature. They are undeveloped adults, and there's a reason why they have a mental disorder. So mental disorders are a mental disability. All of this, if you have all of this in adulthood, you are mentally disabled. You can Google, you can read the books that I read. When all the cluster Bs are located in the mental impairment section, that's what they are. Narcissists, sociopaths, borderline, they are impaired in comparison with, or in definition with, people with autism, mental retardation, schizophrenia. Cluster B people are on the same level, on a different subtype, but on the same genre, to say it like that, which is mental impairment, or slash mental disability. So it's not normal. People who behave like this are not normal. So in psychology, people who study personality disorders, they have to study abnormal psychology. That's why they call it abnormal psychology, because all these behaviors are odd, bizarre, and very immature. So I hope you understand, and thank you again. Okay, so on the previous cut, I explained the opposite of object constancy, but I omitted the real meaning of the term. The problem is that object constancy is just a correlation of positive behaviors that we nurture in our infancy, but there is no opposite term to describe negative behaviors. So when we are 5, we are very well balanced with our object constancy. We trust our parents. We trust that they are not going to leave us with our nanny forever or something like that, right? We are content. We are content with our parents, with our toys, with everything that we have. We are satisfied. We are satisfied with the food that our parents cook. We are satisfied with our friends, with our school, with our clothes, with our toys. We never argue, so we have healthy agreements. We have healthy agreements, right? We start to develop empathy. Empathy is something that we are born without, so we have to nurture it in our childhood. Because cluster B disorders, they are a cause of our environment. So you have two moral choices. You nurture bad behavior or you reject bad behavior. So personally, I was born in one of the most terrible households that you can imagine. Me and my siblings, right? So my siblings and I, we lived practically without our parents for 8 years. So we had to live with really terrible people, you know. So we were mature enough to reject the bad behavior that we encountered, that we saw. But sadly, some of our cousins or like any family, they nurture that bad behavior. So it depends on you. It really depends on your self-awareness. If you are very naive and very immature and you get manipulated in your childhood, you will develop those conditions, those very same conditions that you saw on other people. Let's say that your uncle used to beat your aunt, that there was domestic violence, right? You have two moral choices. You reject that behavior or you adopt that behavior. You reject that behavior by feeling empathy towards your aunt. You feel disgust, you feel angry. You adopt that behavior when you see that those actions have no repercussions, so you repeat them in your adulthood. So that's object constancy. So in our infancy, we have the moral choice or of the self-awareness to trust, to be content, to be satisfied, to comprehend disagreements and then work them out and then try to fix them, right? and try to have healthy agreements. You don't have to fight with your siblings all the time. You are 40, you are 45, you don't have to fight with your siblings anymore. Empathy, which is not in everybody. So in the previous cut of this video, I explained the opposite of object constancy, because there's no term that describes something the opposite of it. So I described it with behaviors. I said discontent and dissatisfaction, and then immaturity, right? Which is the main subject. So when a person lacks object constancy, we are not referring to the term, we are referring to the correlation of behaviors that create the term.